Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Why I seek your mandate to be president by Tinubu. Naira exchanges for 766 Naira to the dollar at parallel market. Oshu Speaker attacked. Presidential poll will hold Saturday, says National Security Council. Accept results, avoid acrimony, Buhari tells candidates. Okay, which story are we starting with?
The National Security Council yesterday has dismissed fears of likely postponement of the presidential and National Assembly elections holding on Saturday. It was said that it says that the security atmosphere was right for the poll going by the level of the security across the country. They says that even the anger and violence in some parts of the country over the CBN policy, Naira swap policy, and its attendant cash scarcity, which has led to speculation. Even with that, they are so sure that they have everything on ground, personnel on ground, all security operatives and affiliates are all on ground to make sure that we have a peaceful and violence-free election. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, the Inspector of Police, Usman Alkali, also made note to reporters that, we're ready to go and everything is on ground to go. So elections will hold Saturday and will be violence-free.
Hopefully. In a related story, yesterday at the Peace Accord, the President Muhammadu Buhari has made a passionate appeal to all the candidates for the general elections to avoid any forms of acrimony by accepting the results as announced by INEC. He also advised the candidates who are dissatisfied with the outcome to seek redress in the courts and not cause any unrest whatsoever. He also asked and charged INEC to be very firm and courageous in the conduct of elections, which commences this weekend, and hoping that everybody would adhere to the rules and there should be no violence across the country.
So the Supreme Court has fixed judgment for March 3rd in the suits filed by the 17 states to challenge the propriety of the Naira swap policy of the federal government. A 9-member panel of the court, presided over by Justice John Okoro, chose the date after the lawyers to the parties made their final submissions. So the states that filed the cases against the federal government in the name of the Attorney General of the Federation are Kaduna, Kogi, Zamfara, Katsina, Lagos, Cross River, Ogun, Ekiti, Ondo, Sokoto, Rivers, Kano, Niger, Jigawa, Nasarawa, Plateau, and Abia states. And they said upon application, the Bayelsa and Edo states had to join 2 states as co-defendants with the Attorney General. Then they had to, after the lawyers presented their case, they were saying that some of the things they needed to go on with the case was not available, and so they would likely, move it to another date. But Justice Okoro was saying no, that this is looking like they want to make the judiciary a scapegoat, and so they must hear the case at that time. But I don't know how it stands, but according to the senior advocate of Nigeria, who spoke with the nation, he said the old currencies remain as legal tender until the determination of the suit before the court.
Okay, moving on to the Punch. INEC distributes election materials as Buhari meets security chiefs. Politicians stockpiling old notes to buy votes. Which story are we starting with? Let me start with the chairman of the EFCC, Abdul Rashid Bawa, said that there are alleged plans by politicians to buy votes in kind and in cash. Many of them are stockpiled, even the old notes, and mixed with some new notes, and they are planning to use it to buy vote on election day. He's urging citizens to report every form of vote buying and selling and other evidence of financial malpractices to the EFCC. And according to him, he has deployed all his agents across the 36 states to monitor the polls across all the states. He said that we have intelligence that a lot of politicians have bought items that will be used to buy votes in kind and cash, and not necessarily in cash. But we are prepared for any situation and will not hesitate to arrest anyone caught in that act. They watch out for all these things on election day. So that's from the EFCC directly, saying they have agents out.
He also said that it's not only politicians, he said public servants and businessmen who have questionable characters are doing this as well.
Okay, any other story in Punch?
Yes, so I took a story inside. 10 protesters remanded for vandalizing Rivers Bank. So a magistrate court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, remanded Kenneth Nadozie and 9 others at a correctional center in Port Harcourt for malicious damage to a commercial bank in the Borikiri axis of the state. So Punch had reported that some hoodlums hijacked a protest by bank customers demonstrating against the scarcity of the new Naira notes in the metropolis last week. And during the incident, the hoodlums now robbed passerbys, destroyed the ATM machines and some structures in the banks. And so they had been taken to court and charged on 6 counts for alleged conspiracy, housebreaking, stealing, and unlawful gathering. February 17, invaded a commercial bank and explained how they damaged, had a riotous assembly in the guise of protesting against the scarcity of the Naira note. There were others that were also released on bail, I think about 9 of them as well, that did almost the same thing during the protest.
Okay. Yeah, so also in the paper is in compliance with the federal government's directive, tertiary institutions and schools nationwide have shut down academic activities for the 2023 general elections. The decision is to allow students to exercise their franchise on Saturday, February 25th, and also Saturday, March 11th for the governorship poll. And the federal government, through the NUC, that's National Universities Commission, National Board for Technical Education, and National Commission for Colleges of Education, had asked heads of institutions to shut down because of security reasons. I mean, so we know that a lot of students have been going back home because the institutions have been closed. So we hear is one for them to exercise their franchise, you know, and the other is also for security reasons. The universities, but you know, there are conversations back and forth about if we should be doing this, should be letting students who have been home for many, you know, COVID affected them, then the ASU strike, and then now for an election that will take place one day, is it okay to just ask students to go all the way back home?
Well, many of them are eligible voters and they are entitled to vote, so they should be able to.
I wouldn't allow my kids
Some of them would
in
have
a place where I'm not with you during elections. We know how elections can go in Nigeria. So.
I would never be without my kids.
Exactly.
In elections.
This is the time to stay together.
Everybody stay together. All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to move on now to Daily Sun. Naira redesigned, Supreme Court defers ruling. Izeze ex-Guardian MD heads Media Complaints Commission. Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, 15 others signed fresh peace accord. And presidential poll will hold as scheduled, says federal government. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Presidential candidates of different political parties on Wednesday signed a second peace accord to accept the results of Saturday's election and pursue any redress legally. And the presidential candidates that were present were Bola Tinubu of APC, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, Atiku Abubakar of PDP, Rabiu Kwankwaso of NNPP, Dan Wanyang of Zenith LP, Kola Abiola of the Redemption Party, PRP, and others. And our president and former president, Goodluck Jonathan, also urged, Mariah Tuki urged presidential candidates to accept the outcome of the forthcoming presidential election in good faith. The National Peace Committee that was chaired by the former head of state, General Abdulsalam Abubakar, also underscored the need to put violence aside before, during, and after general elections and seek judicial redress when necessary. So they're saying, by signing this peace accord, they're saying whatever the outcome is, we will accept it, and for where we don't accept it, we'll take the legal route.
The peace accord, they should put, those of you that don't accept it, we will arrest you. So that it will come.
Depends on
no, if you don't accept it, you go the legal route.
Yes, seek redress. It's okay to seek
and if you
redress.
start to foment trouble, because Jonathan should be held as a beacon.
Yeah.
Because everybody that time thought there was going to be wahala.
He conceded.
There was no wahala. He just considered it.
Yeah.
The Nigerian Press Organization has taken a bold step to kickstart the new ombudsman. Now, this ombudsman mechanism, with the announcement of the 9-man board of the National Media Complaints Commission, that's the NMCC, it's a comprising of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, that's NPAN, the NGE, that's the Nigerian Guild of Editors, and NUJ, Nigerian Union of Journalists. If you remember, many people have already advocated for this ombudsman for many, many years, but now we're so happy that finally, and now what the ombudsman means is that they're going to be like a body to review all the ethical issues in journalism, where we have complaints of various complaints within the journalism industry that hasn't been able to be properly addressed. This ombudsman will therefore be the one to have the local chapter and then the national chapter, with all issues concerning ethics, modes of operations within the industry will be reviewed and taken into consideration when there are issues raised. So many people are happy about this, and I'm happy that it was the ex-Guardian MD who's going to be chairing this new commission. It's going to be, I think it's Mr. Izeze. He's going to be the one chairing it, and it's a good news for the media industry. So when we have all these issues concerning hate speech or newspaper media intentionally sensationalizing or even trying to be partisan in some end, we can have a body that can be reported to and ensure that there is action is taken against those kind of institutions, which is a good thing for the media. Okay, another story in Punch. Let's move on now to Vanguard. Governors under investigation for inciting utterances, says IGP. Who has that story in Vanguard? Nobody?
Open.
Inspector General. Okay, let's move on.
Open. It has a front page inside.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize there was a. Okay. Governors under investigation for inciting utterances, says IGP. Naira crisis. Supreme Court fixes March 3rd for judgment. Obaseki lacks powers to order my arrest, says Oshiomhole. Buhari Osinbajo support groups apologize to Nigerians and dump APC. Poor performance in a Greek industry sector lower Nigeria's GDP. I think that's all the story we have in Vanguard. Who has any story there? Oshiomhole, who has
Yes,
that?
I do.
Yeah.
So the former governor of Edo State, Adam Oshiomhole, has said the governor of Edo State has no powers to order his arrest. And he was reacting to the allegation that that he had sponsored the riots in Benin City and has been declared wanted by the state government. He says that and then in response says, I think the government, the media have a duty to interrogate those making allegations. At least it will not be too much of a reporter to ask a a governor or anybody making allegations to at least attempt to show evidence or some kind of logical basis to arrive at such a conclusion. He said, I've been privileged being the governor in this state for 8 years. I have sufficient interest in the peace and stability of this state. As you can see from experience, governors will come and go, but people remain. And he says that he's enjoyed the trust and confidence of Edo people, that he's one governor that's on record to have won election across the 18 local government areas of Edo State. And so, you know, the interest of the stability of Edo State is paramount to him. And then he says that when he read it initially on social media and later saw it in a section of the media that Obaseki had ordered the police to arrest him, he had a very good laugh, because Obaseki does not know that he does not have the power to order the arrest of a citizen. And that is the reason some people have reservations about people like Obaseki talk about state police, because the law is clear.
So Nigeria recorded an annual gross domestic product GDP growth rate of 3.1% in 2022, representing 0.3 percentage point decline from the 3.4% recorded in 2021. So they said the decline follows lower performance of agricultural sector occasioned by flooding across the country farmlands. Also, industry sector recorded poor performance. And then they went ahead to give all the percentages. It's a lot of percentages here, but overall the message is just saying that because of all the things that happened to us in 2022, we had recorded a very low performance, and we need to do more to be able to upgrade the performance. However, the service industry, the service sector did better in 2022 compared to the agricultural sector.
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune, very quickly. Most of the papers today are
Taken.
Court orders interim forfeiture of 14 Kogi government properties in Lagos, Abuja, and UAE. Supreme Court fixes March 3rd for judgment on new Naira policy. Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, others sign peace accord. We won't transmit raw figures of election results, INEC chairman declares. So Mahmoud Yakubu, that's the INEC chairman yesterday, was saying specifically that the raw figures of the election results would not be transmitted electronically by his commission. He said it on Wednesday at the meeting with leaders of the international election observers. He said that the presiding officers have the mandate to use the bimodal voters accreditation as BVAS machine to snap election results and document it on the results on the sheet from each polling unit and upload the photo to the INEC server. He said that the raw figure transmitted electronically is susceptible to hacking, so they won't do that. But they don't want to where somebody can change the figures through hacking. So it told the guests that the Commission has consulted widely with relevant financial institutions, security agencies, and secured their cooperation, and has confirmed that the cards issued by the Commission and presented at the voter registration will be authenticated through the fingerprinting. So he's just saying that when the results are done, they wouldn't transmit it electronically because they don't want it by hackers change the figures and manipulate it. I wonder how they plan to do it, though. I guess it's going to be manual. Okay.
Snapshots.
The snapshots are not easy.
I wanted to take this. It's just it wasn't on the front page. It's about an abandoned baby. It says 2 months, but from the picture it's like 2 years. And he said he found him wandering around Pansheke under the bridge on the 16th of June, and all the efforts to find the mother relatives have failed. It says a vagrant mother, and they put his picture there. So anyone with useful information should please contact them, parents or relatives. I think it's so sad. I thought I should just take that.
That is sad.
Okay. Story.
I have another story in the paper as well. So just an update. We know we were taking the trial of Senator Ike Ekweremadu and his wife and daughter, and also the doctor that was supposed to oversee the organ donation. But so they said that the victim was put on stand yesterday, and according to the way it was reported yesterday, he said he admitted to a series of lies about his persons, his parents, and the proceedings that led to his reporting to London. So he said he lied to the police that he was 15, because he said at the time he was actually 21, and by October this year he'll be 23. He had lied that he was an orphan and living homeless, but he has parents alive, and he has a business here he has a business in Lagos. He sells he's involved in selling phones, and he makes a daily profit about 3,000 naira from his business. He said that he had an apartment in Lagos, which he also shared with someone. So they said the serial admissions of the lies by the alleged victim raised subdued rumpus in the gallery of the Old Bailey, putting to question the wisdom of the London Metropolitan Police and CBS in putting forward Senator Akuramadu. So I guess they're just looking at how competent or what's
he's
the
under
word?
cross-examination
Yes,
now.
under cross-examination, and he's been caught in a web of lies. So what then confirms that everything else that he said is not also a lie?
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review.